The sound of the deadbolt sliding into place echoed through the apartment like a gunshot. I froze, my hand still outstretched toward the doorknob, as Sarah's voice cut through the silence behind me. "You don't get to leave. Not like this. Not again. If you've ever felt trapped between your past and your future, between love and self-preservation, stay with me. This story might just help you make the choice I couldn't. And if this resonates with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that explore the complicated reality of human relationships. I never meant for it to come to this. 6 years together, and somehow we'd become strangers who knew each other's darkest secrets. The irony wasn't lost on me as I turned to face her, the woman I'd once believed was my forever. Sarah stood with her back against the door, keys clutched in her white-knuckled fist, tears streaming silently down her face. The apartment we'd shared for 4 years suddenly felt like a cage, the walls closing in with each ragged breath between us. "We need to talk about this," she said, her voice steadier than I expected. "You can't just pack a bag and disappear." But that's exactly what I'd been trying to do. The duffel bag at my feet contained the essentials, enough clothes for a week, toiletries, my laptop, and the framed photo of my mother I couldn't bear to leave behind. Everything else, I'd convinced myself, was replaceable. Even us. "There's nothing left to say," I replied, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. "We've been saying the same things for months. Nothing changes." Sarah's laugh was hollow, devoid of any humor. "That's rich coming from you, Daniel. Nothing changes because you refuse to change. You refuse to try." The accusation stung because it carried the sharp edge of truth. I had been withdrawing for months, retreating into myself as depression wrapped its familiar tendrils around my mind. After losing my job at the architecture firm, the job I'd sacrificed countless nights and weekends for, I'd lost more than a paycheck. I'd lost my purpose, my identity. "I'm trying to protect you," I said, the excuse sounding pathetic even to my own ears. "From what? From yourself? That's not your decision to make." Sarah pushed away from the door but didn't move toward me. The distance between us, 5 feet of hardwood flooring, might as well have been an ocean. "You don't get to decide what I can handle." Outside, rain began to fall, pattering against the windows of our third-floor apartment. The gray afternoon darkened further, casting shadows across the living room we'd once filled with laughter and dreams. The bookshelf we'd assembled together on our first anniversary. The couch where we'd fallen asleep watching movies countless times. The kitchen where we'd danced while making dinner, back when we still made time for such things. "I'm not the man you fell in love with anymore," I said quietly. "You think I don't know that?" Sarah's voice cracked. "People change, Daniel. That's what they do. That's what relationships are, growing and changing together. Some changes are too big to ask someone to accept. Try me." The challenge in her voice was unmistakable. I looked down at my bag, at the life I'd reduced to portable essentials. 3 months of unemployment had hollowed me out. 3 months of rejection letters and dwindling savings. 3 months of watching Sarah carry us both, financially, emotionally, while I spiraled further into self-loathing. "I can't keep dragging you down with me," I said. "You deserve better. Don't you dare make this about what I deserve." Sarah's eyes flashed with anger. "That's just another way of avoiding responsibility. If you want to leave because you don't love me anymore, have the courage to say it." The accusation hit me like a physical blow. "This has nothing to do with not loving you." "Then what?" "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're running away the moment things get difficult." Her words unearthed memories I'd tried to bury. My father walking out when I was 9, leaving nothing but a hastily scribbled note. The pattern I'd sworn I would never repeat. "I'm not running away," I insisted, even as my packed bag contradicted me. "I'm giving you a chance at happiness." "My happiness is not your burden to bear or your gift to give," Sarah countered. And if you think leaving will somehow make me happier, you don't know me at all. The rain intensified, drumming against the windows. Thunder rumbled in the distance, a fitting soundtrack to the storm raging between us. I'm drowning, Sarah, I finally admitted, my voice barely audible above the rain. Every day, I wake up and I can't breathe. I look at you, working so hard, staying positive, and I hate myself more for not being able to match that. For not being the partner you need. Something in Sarah's expression softened. Did it ever occur to you that maybe I need you? Just you. Not some idealized version of a partner you've created in your head. I sank onto the edge of the couch, suddenly exhausted. You say that now, but resentment builds. One day you'll wake up and realize you've wasted years on someone who couldn't pull their weight. Sarah crossed the room slowly and sat beside me, careful to maintain a small distance. That's not how I see it. That's not how love works. Then how does it work? Because I'm lost here. She was quiet for a long moment, gathering her thoughts. Do you remember when I failed the bar exam the first time? I nodded. It had been 2 years ago. Sarah had studied relentlessly, sacrificing sleep and social life, only to miss passing by 3 points. I was devastated, she continued. I felt like a failure, like I'd let everyone down. I wanted to quit law altogether. But you didn't. No, I didn't. Because you wouldn't let me. You told me that one setback doesn't define me. You made me flashcards and quizzed me for hours. You brought me coffee during late-night study sessions and reminded me why I wanted to be a lawyer in the first place. I remembered those months, her determination, her resilience, and yes, my unwavering support. That's what partners do, Sarah said softly. They hold each other up when one is falling. They take turns being strong. It's been 3 months, I pointed out. That's a long time to hold someone up. And how long would you have held me up? 6 months? A year? Would there have been a cutoff point where you decided I wasn't worth the effort anymore? The question hung between us, unanswerable. I don't know how to find my way back, I confessed. To who I was. To who we were. Maybe we don't go back, Sarah suggested. Maybe we go forward instead. Together. She reached for my hand, her touch tentative. I didn't pull away. I'm scared, I admitted. What if I can't find another job? What if this is just who I am now? Then we'll figure it out. But you have to stay and try. You have to let me in instead of pushing me away. The rain continued to fall, but the thunder had moved on. In its absence, the apartment felt quieter, the air less charged. I don't know if I can be what you need right now, I said. I'm not asking you to be anything other than honest. With me and with yourself. I looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in weeks. The woman who had stood by me through everything. The woman who had locked the door not to trap me, but to force me to face what I was running from. I'm angry all the time, I admitted. At myself, at the world. I feel like a failure, and I don't know how to stop feeling that way. Sarah squeezed my hand. That's a start. Naming it is a start. It doesn't fix anything. No, but it gives us something to work with. Something real. I glanced at my bag, still sitting by the door. The escape route I'd planned now seemed like the coward's way out. I need help, I said, the words catching in my throat. Professional help. I think I've been depressed for a long time, even before losing my job. The job was just the breaking point. Sarah nodded, tears welling in her eyes again, but different tears now. I know. I've been hoping you'd realize that. Why didn't you say anything? Because you needed to come to it yourself. And because I was afraid of pushing you further away. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of unspoken fears and hopes settling between us. I can't promise I'll get better right away, I said. I'm not asking for promises. I'm asking for presence. For effort. For partnership. I thought about what leaving would mean, walking away from the one person who saw me at my worst and still believed in my best. The one person who refused to let me disappear into the darkness of my own mind. I don't deserve you, I said. Sarah shook her head. That's not how love works either. It's not about deserving. It's about choosing. Every day, we choose each other, through better and worse. I almost didn't choose you today. But you're still here, she pointed out. And I'm still here. That's something. It was something. A small something, perhaps, but a foundation we could build on. Will you help me find a therapist? I asked, the request both terrifying and liberating. Sarah's smile was like the first break of sunlight through storm clouds. Yes. And I'll go with you to the first appointment if you want. Or I'll wait outside. Whatever you need. What I need is to not lose you, I said, the truth of it hitting me with sudden clarity. Everything else, we can figure out. She moved closer, bridging the physical gap between us as we'd begun to bridge the emotional one. Then don't leave. Stay and fight, for yourself, for us. I nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. Outside, the rain began to ease. Inside, something shifted, not a dramatic transformation, but a turning point. A choice to face the storm together rather than seeking shelter alone. Later that night, I unpacked my bag. Each item returned to its place felt like a small commitment, a silent promise. Sarah watched from the doorway, neither helping nor hindering, simply witnessing my decision to stay. We're going to be okay, she said as I put the last shirt back in the drawer. It wasn't a question, but I answered anyway. Not right away. But eventually, yes. She crossed the room and wrapped her arms around me from behind, her cheek resting between my shoulder blades. Eventually is good enough for now. 6 months later, I stood in front of a different door, the entrance to a small design studio that had taken a chance on me. My new job wasn't as prestigious as my old one, but it offered something more valuable: flexibility, understanding, and room to grow. 3 sessions a week with my therapist had given me tools to manage the darkness when it threatened to overwhelm me. Medication helped too, though accepting that I needed it had been its own battle. Sarah and I were different now, both individually and as a couple. The easy optimism of our early years had been replaced by something more grounded, more resilient. We'd learned to communicate not just about the easy things, but about the hard ones too. About fear and failure and the courage it takes to be vulnerable. Some nights, I still woke in a cold sweat, panic clawing at my throat. But now, instead of suffering in silence, I would wake Sarah. She would hold me until my breathing steadied, neither of us pretending it wasn't happening, neither of us expecting immediate solutions. On the anniversary of the day I tried to leave, Sarah presented me with a key, a new key to our apartment, attached to a small silver keychain engraved with a simple message: choose to stay. I carry it with me always, a reminder that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is not walk away, but remain present in the midst of our struggles. A reminder that love isn't about grand gestures or perfect moments, but about the daily choice to face life together, even when, especially when, that life doesn't match our expectations. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that healing isn't linear. Neither is love. Both require patience, commitment, and the courage to begin again each day. Both require us to stay when every instinct screams at us to run. So if you find yourself standing at the door, bag packed, convinced that leaving is the only option, pause. Consider the possibility that the very person you're trying to protect by leaving might be the one who can help you find your way back to yourself. Consider that sometimes, the locked door isn't a trap, but an invitation to face what you've been running from. Because sometimes, the greatest act of love isn't walking away to spare someone pain. Sometimes, it's staying and allowing yourself to be loved through your darkest moments. Sometimes, it's accepting that you don't have to face the storm alone. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If it touched something in you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind us we're not alone in our struggles, and that even in our darkest moments, connection and hope remain possible.